Hello my Scrappin friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel Creating Your Memories. Today I want to share with you a layout that I've created. I did see this idea made into a card, and I wondered how it would look if I made it into like a border to make a scrapbooking page. And it turned out great. I absolutely love the way it turned out. So I tried it out on my denim leftover pieces that I had. I didn't have much of this collection left over, so I did trial it out on the my denim paper, and I just love the way it turned out. And I also had a go at the Noteworthy Days, and as you can see by this layout here, by doing the same technique of using the circles, making and creating a border, and the only difference between the two is that I cut the strips a little bit smaller, and these strips here are 1 inch and these ones here are 1/2 inch. So as you can see, the layout, the way it's all set out and everything, with the Noteworthy Days and the color combination between the blues, the browns, the fawns, cream, you know, the different shades of green, I just love it. And you know, and the photos work so well with this collection. So I'm going to show you how I created this border today by using the circle punch. And if you don't have this circle punch, don't worry, there is another option that you can use that is exactly the same size as the circle punch. And to create this layout today, the things that you would need are, using the Noteworthy Days designer paper, so I've just picked out 6 pieces, so 1 of each of the colors of the Noteworthy Days. And for easy to cutting out, I just cut them in 2-inch strips. The circle punch measures 1 3/4, so I've just punched out 2-inch strips, so it's a lot easier and I'm not wasting paper. So I've cut out some of them. So these are the colors that will be using, so front and back. So those are those ones. I've got a combination of photos that I am going to be using, which are similar to these ones here. I've also pulled out some embellishments and a variety mat. This blue, it's gorgeous blue, I will be using that side. That is one of the Noteworthy Days tone-on-tone papers. I will be using a white piece of cardstock, which is the bright white, and the circle punch, the 12-inch trimmer, and I will be using the personal trimmer today to trim my photos. If you don't have the circle punch, you can use your custom cutting system with the blue blade on the inside track, and that will make you a 1 3/4 circle. So that's another option if you do not have the circle punch. So I will be continuing to use the circle punch today, and I have cut some of my circles out. So I'm just going to cut out the rest of my circles. So you've got about 6 circles from 1 strip, and as I said, I will be using both sides. So I'm just going to punch these and then add them to the tray, and just turning them up, so I've got 3 of each color. So now my last piece, so I have a combination of different colors to use. With this one here, I don't want to use the white on the reverse side. I just want to use the color shaded of the blue. So then I have that one there. And that's the only thing that you need with your circle punch today. So we can put that away. And the next thing that we're going to need is your 12-inch trimmer. And you also want to have a piece of paper to build your border onto. So I'm just using one of these front pieces of paper that you find in your designer paper. And I'm going to cut that at 3 inches. So it's 3 by 12. And the next thing that you want to do is you can use your repositional tape or your tape runner, but the other thing that I used was our tape strip that you can get from Creative Memories, and I just done a few rows on my border so they can hold. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'm just going to cut it at the end. And I'm going to do the same at the other end. I don't use this, the tape on the reel that often, but there are some things that, you know, like you need the longer tape for. And with this tape, the tape isn't as wide as that strip of 1/2 inch. It's only like 1/4 on. I don't know if you can see that, but it's only on half. So you just got to be mindful of where you're putting your strips of your tape, and this will help it to hold down as well. And I did use a little bit of repositional tape also on the circles on the corners, because when you cut that, it's going to come apart. So you need to make sure that your circles are well secured. So now I'm just going to take off the strips, and then, oops, then we can get started on our circles. Okay. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see that, it might be a bit light that you can't see, but I think I might put another strip just in the center there. Then that way I've got it all lined up. So just pressing that down. And then lifting it. Okay, to start off with our circles, I've brought in my repositional tape and my silicone mat. So then all I'm going to do is, with our first one, you just want to cover down the bottom. So I'm hoping that you can see that and it's in line with my camera. And you just want to place it down there. So you want it to hang off the edge, so you're not seeing any white. And then you just want to keep going along and matching your colors up. So because this one's overlapping onto the brown, you need to put a little bit of repositional tape on that so it holds. So then when it gets cut, it's going to stay on there. So you just want to keep overlapping. So you want to go 3 across. So I've got the browns, and then I might try the, let me see, maybe this brown here. So I'm going to do exactly the same, and then it's just going to overlap. So then when I go up to my next layer, you want to put it down the bottom and on the side. Remember, the top is going to get taped because we put all that tape onto our border strip. And you just want to keep working your way up with the colors of any color combination that you like, and just putting them on randomly. And I'm just going to continue up. So as you can see, as I'm laying the circles over top of each other, you can see the pattern that it is making and the design that I am actually going for. So then I might use maybe the dark brown. And then we might go the green. I go that one again. So it's just, you know, like going in any color arrangement that you like. I just go this brown there. So we're just going to continue up to make our border without overlapping our circles as we go. So as you can see, we're nearly halfway there now, and you can see that the different patterns that it actually makes and how well it stands out. So as I said, I did see this idea and it was made into a card. I can't remember who it was. It was just scrolling through Facebook and it just popped up in my news feed, and I was very fascinated with it, and I thought, I have to try that and see if it works. Because trying something when it's a little bit bigger, oops, I can't have that colour, I might use this colour, then something small, it does make a huge difference in what it looks like. Okay, so then we've got a small amount to go. So I'm just going through my colours now, see which ones that I need to use. So I might use this brown and then the fawn. And maybe use that colour. That's a clear, that's a brown. I'll go the green. I'll go the green. And then we'll start all over again. I go this brown. And then this one. I might do the blue. So we're getting quite close to the end now. So we've got 2 more rows to go. This one. Last one. And then maybe this one. So now you can see just, you know, like going along, and it's made this gorgeous border, just making, you know, punching out your circles. And then we're just going to cut that. So I'm just going to use my scissors to start off with. Then I'm going to put it in the trimmer to neaten up the other edges. So bringing back in the trimmer, so I'm just going to line that up on the cut line and then trim the edges, just making sure that it's lined up. lining up, making sure that you've got it lined up on your cut line. So just using your guides and then trim that. Could have gone in a little bit closer, so I'm just going to neaten that up with my scissors. So I'm just giving it a trim. So remember that when you're cutting it also with the trimmer, that you've got all those layers that could be laying on top of each other, and it just means that you might have to push down a little bit harder so it can get through all the layers. Okay, just get rid of that rubbish. So then I'm going to line this one up, and I'm going to line it up at 3 and trim that side. And with that end bit, I'm also just going to use the scissors to trim it up. It's up to you. You could use your scissors or you can use your 12-inch trimmer. It will give you the same results. So when I did my layout before, you know, on this one here, I did do the strips 1/2 inch by 12, and this one is 1 inch by 12. I think I'm going to make it a little bit different, and I'm going to do them 1 inch. So remember about the layers that you have on this border, that you need to push a little bit harder to cut it all. And saying that, I did not cut all the way through, so I'm just going to trim that. I need to push a little bit harder, so I might actually cut the other side. So just lining that back up too, and this side I'll press a little bit harder. So there I have one. I'm just going to put that trimmer aside for a minute, and I'm just going to trim this one up. I should have pressed a little bit harder than I did, but I made a bit of a boo-boo. It's not that much more that I need to go through, so that was good. You're going to get some little off ends from the circles that haven't stuck down, because obviously you haven't put enough tape, and you can see that those little bits there that are loose. On some of them I did remove them, and with others I've put some repositional tape down and taped them back on, which I'm going to do with that one. So if I line that up together and just put that in. So it could be just those tiny little ends that you've probably missed the tape on. So this one's just a little bit, so I'm just going to put some repositional tape on that. Stick that one down. So as you can see now, that when I put it together, you've got all your overlapping circles. This one needs to go on as well. That's why it's very important that you try to get all your pieces together and having enough tape. It's no big issue that you have to retape it. Let's just move that one down a bit. There we go, and we've got this one here. And that one goes in there. And I think that's it. Okay, so that's my border. So I'm just going to sit my border aside for the moment. So now to do the rest of my layout, I'm going to bring back in my tone on tone paper and my bright white cardstock. So with the bright white cardstock, I want to cut that down to 11.5 by 11.5. So I'm just going to take 1/2 inch off two sides, and then 1/2 inch off this side. So it's going to be the top part. So with this blue one here, I'm going to cut out a frame. So I think I'm going to do a 1 1/4 frame. So everybody knows how to make a frame. There's so many different videos on how to do this, but if you don't know how to do this, or what you need to do is, because if you can do a 1 inch frame or you can do it a little bit bigger, it's up to you, but I'm going to do 1 1/4. So my paper is lined up on the 1 1/4 line here on this side, and then you want to get the your housing here of your 12-inch trimmer, and you want to line that up at 1 1/4 and then go down to 11 1/4, and then you're just going to continue that around to your 4 sides. So 1 1/4 to 11 1/4, and then last one is 1 1/4 to 11 1/4. And then all you're doing is you're taking the middle piece out of your base page, and that way I could be able to use this piece on my layout. So then it's just going to sit like that, and then the white cardstock is going to give it that support that it needs. So I'm just going to use some tape runner, and I'm going to stick my bright white cardstock onto the blue. So just taping up the edges, and this will also give it enough room that you're not going to see the tape on the other side. So I just want to line this up so that way it's got even points around. Oops, that's not right. Need to do that again. Lifting that up. So you just want to have, it ends up being like a 1 1/4 by 1 1/4 edge around your whole page. So the next thing you need to do is you need to bring back in the border that you just created, and I'm going to put it on this side. So I'm going to take it right to the edge. Just going to see how that looks, because I am doing it a little bit different to the other one. So I think I might take 1/2 inch off the bottom of these. I think it's about 1/2 inch. So I'm just going to take 1/2 inch off, and that should line up perfectly. So just taking that 1/2 inch off the bottom. So then lining this back up again, so I need to go, yeah, like this. It's like a jigsaw puzzle, so you don't want to mess up your sections of your circles. So now I'm just going to tape that down. So I'm going to take it right to the end of that white cardstock. And then when I put down my next piece, I'm going to leave that white gap in between. So it's only going to be like a 1/8 gap in between. So in that way it gives it that nice little separated look. So then now this one, I'm going to do the same, just like the 1/8 in between. So as you can see, that's just made a simple border. So doing it like 1 inch apart, and that one's just doing it, I should say cutting it at 1 inch by 12, and this one is cutting it a 1/2 inch by 12. So now to continue the layout, I'm going to bring in my photos now. As I said, I was just going to do this one a little bit different, but I am going to cut this down and I want to put that as the backing with my photos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a ruler and I'm just going to measure this length. So that's 8 1/4. Then you've got the 12. So for my photos, I think I make them 4 inches long. So do the 4, and then maybe 8. So I might do it in 3 3/4. So 4 by 3 3/4. And then 4 long. So we've got 4. Let's say 4. So that confuse you. And then by 3 3/4. Might end up changing that to 3 1/2. I just wanted to use all the photos that I had, because every photo there's a different facial expression on my granddaughter's face. This is both of my granddaughters, but the little one, she's got, you know, different face expressions, and at the same time she's eating and she's trying to do a little crazy little smile at the same time. So if I have both of them together, they're going to measure in inches. So this is going to measure 7 1/2. So I probably will actually cut them down to 3 1/2, because otherwise it's not going to give me a lot of blue around the outside once I place the photos on the back of the designer paper. So I've got enough room here so that I can cut these photos down to 3 1/2. So they're 3 1/2 by 4. So that should make it at 7, and that's 8 in the length. So, and this paper is 9 1/2. So 8. So if we go 8 1/2 long, so 8 1/2 long by 7 1/2 wide. Just make sure that is correct before I cut that. And I'll go that way. No, wait, they'll go this way. So 8 1/2 and I want them to join together. So I'm just going to go for the moment 7 3/4, just so that I know that I've got enough and that I'm not cutting off more than I should be. So then just lining up my photos, and I want them to sit like this and then have them together. So I think I actually do like that. So that piece of paper that I just cut was 8.5 long by 7 3/4 wide, and the photos were 4 by 3.5. So what I want to do now is stick this piece of paper down. So I'm just going to center this in the middle. So I'm just going to bring in my centering ruler. And probably do it 1.5 from the white edge, and then just sticking it in. It's like 1/4 in between from here to here, and then I think it works out to be 1/4 for the bottom photos. Sticking them together, yeah, it's about that. So I'm just going to put down my photos. So it's 1/4 up from the bottom and a little bit more than 1/4 going from the end. So if I line that up at 1, my middle point is about here. It's about that. And then I'll just stick those photos on the top. So I don't want to leave a gap in between. I just want to have them all centered in the middle. Okay. So then what I've pulled out here with the embellishments is I do wanted a title, but going through, just find them, the Noteworthy stickers. I mean, these are the Noteworthy, you know, Creative Memories have brought out for a yearly thing, which is great because you've got the January and you've got February and all the little occasions that happen in each month with your seasons and everything like that. But with something like this, the stickers in here actually don't coordinate with what I want to do. And with the other one that I did, I mainly use, you know, like the hearts, and then I think it was in May that you've got Mother's Day, and I just use those couple of flowers. But in this one here, I do want to use this. So I'm thinking now that maybe I should have moved that up a little bit because that's going to be hanging off the bottom. So I think I might do that actually. Forgot about that I had that little journaling box down the bottom. So I might flip that page around, and I think I might do it, it's bringing back in that centering ruler now. I think I might do it from one inch from the top. I think that might make it a little bit easy with measurements also, and that gives me enough room down there at the bottom to put that little journaling box down there. So that is 1 inch from the top, and then if I put that there now, and then I've got this little thing here which it says the date, And then I've got the arrow, or I might do the arrow. And I've also grabbed out a couple other little things here. Thinking maybe that on the side. Might do, not sure now if I'll use the date. Because I don't think the date looks nice. Oh, it doesn't look too bad. And then I've got this little circle that I want to use. It gives it something a little bit different on the bottom here. So I think I might go with that. I actually don't mind that. So I'm going to stick this one down first. And then I might pop this one up on some foam square. So this is your foam roller that Creative Memories also sell. I use this occasionally, and I also use the squares. So I'm just going to add this just on the side. This one in the same hole, and then I think I might just put it on top. That, and then we have this and the date. Just going to use some repositional tape on the arrow, and then some repositional tape on this one. Just going to have that one coming off the side. And then I was thinking about using this as my title, but I'm still undecided because I need to cut that to make that fit. So I'm going to have a think about that one. And if I bring in my stickers now, I could use the little green heart, and that can sit over top. Oops. Over top here. And then we have the camera. Actually, I think I might leave that off. If I can get it up. And then I have the camera here. And then I've got the brown heart and then the green heart. So they're the only stickers that I will use on this layout. And I'm still undecided about my title at the moment, but I'm happy with the way, you know, like all this turned out, and with the design of, you know, like doing the border with the circle punch. Makes it look a little bit different. I don't do a lot of borders. I mainly just do a whole page layout, but I'm loving this little idea with the circle punch. And then you have the other one that I created doing exactly the same, but with the smaller strips. And then you have the other one that I created, and that's done with the denim. So as you can see, there are, you know, this border can be created with any collection that you like, because you're going to get the same effect. It's a little bit different than normal things that I would do, but give it a go today. I hope you enjoyed my little idea of doing the circle border and then cutting in the strip and creating a layout. using the Noteworthy Days, which is a yearly creative memories collection that it's all year round. I hope you enjoy it. Until next time, happy scrapping.